Welcome to the Second Opinion Show. We're so glad to be visiting with Todd Mangin, owner and founder of the Lake Gaston Pawvisions of Macon, North Carolina. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing well. Now, your company makes very high quality, high standard pet treats, freeze dried pet treats. We're going to go into more detail about that. But let's go back to the beginning. Todd, where are you originally from?
So I'm from Yonkers, New York. Grew up there. I moved to Connecticut with my parents when I was about 16 or 17 years old, graduated high school, immediately joined the Navy. I was in the Navy for 30 years where I started a family, retired about 2 years ago and out here in Lake Gaston, Macon, North Carolina, and started a small pet treat business out here.
And we thank you for your service and what an amazing career I'm sure you've had and travels and just all the experiences that you've had in life. Now, what inspired you? I believe everything starts with an idea, but there was a particular dog that inspired
Yeah.
this venture into the pet tree business. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure was. So we've always had dogs in our family. Ever since me and my wife got married 30 years ago. We've had dogs right from the beginning. But there's one in particular that kind of broke the mold from them being dogs to being family members, and it was Balboa. I have a love for Rocky Balboa. I think it's like one of the best stories ever. And we
Mhm.
couldn't help but to name Balboa our English bulldog, Balboa. And he was a great boy. He brought a lot of life to our family, and we had him. We kept him alive and going for 12 years. And that's a long time for a bulldog, because they have a lot of health issues and they have breathing problems. And we started to notice that towards the end of his life stage, he was breaking out into hives, and we related a lot of that to kibble. When we started doing some of the research into kibble and what we were actually feeding our dogs, there's you start looking at it and you start thinking, well, I'd never eat that. Why am I feeding it to my animal? And you start comparing pet foods, so they all have the same things. There's a lot of fillers, there's a lot of sawdust, there's a lot of things you probably don't want your animal eating, because we do invest in our animals. They are family members. We bring our animals to the vet. We spend a lot of time with them. We spend a lot of money with them, and we spend a lot of emotion with them. So we should want to keep them around as long as we possibly can. And that's where we started. We started looking at the food we were feeding him. We changed his food around a little bit, and I think we added some life to him. In turn, we started looking at the rest of our dogs, because we do have other dogs. We have another English bulldog, and then we have three Belgian Malinois. And we totally flipped their diet from, excuse me, from being on kibble, all our older dogs, to our animals now eating human grade food. My dogs eat chicken breast, they eat sweet potatoes, they eat oatmeal, blueberries, they eat the same stuff at Food Lion that you and I buy. But that's just me. That's what I do. And when you talk about dog food and dog health, pet owners, they really make their choices three ways. They look at their own diet, which is they should not do. A lot of pet owners will look at their own diet. Well, if I could eat this, my animal can eat that. Not necessarily true, because there's different avenues. For dogs, they obviously need more protein, and then for cats, they can't make some form of amino acid, so they need supplementation, and they need protein. Unless your animal is told that they don't need protein by your veterinarian, they need to eat protein. The second is trends. There's a lot of trends out there, whether it be from what we do, which is freeze drying, whether it be from raw, whether it be from cooked. There are so many trends. And I'll tell you that as long as you're feeding your animal a healthy diet, the trend really doesn't matter, because it has to be balanced. There are benefits with raw diet and there are benefits with cooked diet. I give my animals and I sell raw dog treats, but my animals eat cooked food. It's just the way that we store it. We actually cook the chicken, and you have to cook the mashed potatoes in order for everything to digest properly in their system. So we just cook it all together. So it's just the way we do our food. We cook our food for their actual meal, and we serve them raw. Some people go raw, some people go no, all grain. But you should always consult with your veterinarian or a certified nutrition coach on what you're doing with your animal if you have questions. So.
And speaking of trends, without naming any names, we've all seen the commercials, but not everything that says healthy on the label is healthy. So explain how some of, there's a popular refrigerated food and delivered food that's very popular. Um, what's the issue with it? There's an ingredient that people may not know about. Tell us about
Yeah,
that.
so there's a lot of fillers in them, right? And one of the main ingredients that you start look at is any type of preservatives, nitrates. How are they preserving the food? Dogs, animals, humans shouldn't eat nitrates because what you're getting is a food that's coming in a package and you're storing it. That food is not, it may come with your name on it saying made particularly for Josie or particularly for Chaos. It's not made for them. That is made for a dog their size, and you have no idea how long that's been sitting on a shelf. Just like you have no idea how long the kibble's been sitting on the shelf of your local big box grocery store. So that's why it's always great to look at the ingredients, make sure that you understand them all, and they're whole foods. So when if you're looking at it and you're buying a chicken or a salmon or a beef product, the first ingredient should be beef. It shouldn't be chicken meal. It shouldn't be beef meal. It should be beef followed by the type of beef. Beef tallow, beef gizzard, or chicken gizzard, whatever it may be, all the way down the line, whatever your protein is. That's what should read as first.
It really should be quite simple,
Yes.
and we want to keep it simple, and we want to keep it healthy for all
Right.
of our pets.
Yes.
So explain the freeze dried process. You told me a little bit about that, having to do with moisture content and shelf life, and so
Yes.
just tell us how that works.
So this is what we do when we freeze dry. And there's a lot of different methods on how people go about getting the freeze drying process going. First, I have two different ways. I'll talk about our main one, on which is what some of our biggest sellers, which is chicken liver, beef liver, and then beef mixed with kale, which is good for dogs' digestion if they're having some digestion issues. We get our food from the grocery store, whether it be Food Lion, whether it be any big box store. We get it from the same place you would buy your own food. Bring it home, we put it through a grinder, and it immediately goes into a freezer to where it freezes to a normal 32 degrees. From there, I put into a freeze dryer where it drops it down to -50, and then it does what's called the vapor freezing, where it doesn't allow the moisture that's inside the meat, because all meat's going to have water. Everything's going to have water in it. It doesn't allow the water to ever turn to a liquid. It turns directly into a gas. So it goes from ice crystals completely into a gas and pulled out of the chamber off to the side where it refreezes and then gets discharged. What you're left with is raw meat with no moisture consistency that's shelf stable in a sealed Mylar bag for 25 years.
Wow.
So we do that with our beef, we do that with our chicken, but we also have other forms that we do. We have fish, and fish is kind of different. You don't want to put fish through a grinder. So our salmon that we have, we actually cut up into bite-sized pieces and we freeze dry it that way, along with our smelt. And then we do have another product that we offer that's chicken and hearts in their natural form from a local rancher out here, Foul Play Poultry in Warren County. So we do a lot of work with the local community, and we like to keep it local too.
That's fascinating. And now we can find you folks. Now you ship all over North Carolina,
Yes.
and we can find you at the local farmers markets. Are you and shout out to Mrs. Mangin, Naoma. Is she running the camera today?
Well, she's running the camera and she's running the other two dogs to make sure that they're quiet. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we miss seeing her, but you can visit with both of you. Tell us a little bit about when you're out and about, and
Yeah. So we do the
and you're
Warren. I'm sorry. We do the Warren County Farmers Market every Saturday up here in Warren County. And if you've never been to Warren County, I really tell you, you have to visit it. It's our little slice of gold up here. Very quiet, right on the shores of Lake Gaston. It's one of the last places you could probably go in America to where you can have a really good family vacation without a ton of tourists. And we still only have two grocery stores here, two gas stations, and that's about it, and a couple of restaurants. So it's really small living, and you can really relate to your family up here on vacation. However, we're all over the place. We do stuff in Raleigh, in North Hills. We work with a great event coordinator called Events by Heather, and she's all over North Hills. So you can catch us down there. You can catch us also at local festivals. We have a festival coming up in September, the Oxford Hot Sauce Festival, all the way through the Whirligig Festival that's going to end in Wilson this year. So we'll be all over the place. And you can find us on Facebook and a whole bunch of different ways.
The Whirligig Park is really fun
Yeah,
in Wilson. For anybody that hasn't been, that is a really fun little spot, a little hidden gem.
it
And
is. And between that, we also have the Dogwood Festival out there in Fayetteville as well.
wonderful. So there's an opportunity to come out and visit with you and learn, learn some things that we may not know that we need to know because we want our pets to be with us for the long term as long as they can. And you're right, it is an investment and they rely on us to make the right choices
Absolutely.
for them
Yeah, and
to
absolutely. And come out and see us and talk to me, ask me. I'm a certified animal nutrition coach. I'm going to tell you exactly what my opinion is. I don't sell dog food. I'm not trying to sell anyone anything. All I want them to do is make the best decision for them and their animal. And a lot of times that's talking right to their veterinarian. So keeping that dialogue open. There's sometimes a breakdown between communication between pet parents and that veterinarian that the coach comes in to help with. So if anybody needs any help with that, please come and talk to me. No charge for advice.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. Now we have a special guest that we're going to meet. Miss JoJo just came back from school.
Yep, I'm gonna go get her and I'll talk about her in 1 second. So this is Josie, short for JoJo, but she just came back from training. And the interesting thing about her is she looks a little timid up here. Come here, baby. Whoop.
She's beautiful.
She's a good girl. JoJo, seats, seats. So the interesting thing about her is she's a rescue. She's a Belgian Malinois, about 6 months old. She was actually found discarded in the trash along with her siblings. All of them
Wow.
were rescued out of Mitchell Mills and Raleigh, and they've all found fantastic homes. JoJo is special to us because of that. We actually took her and put her through a trainer. We have a trainer, Brittany, and I'd love to link her in the show notes for you. She's outstanding, and JoJo actually knows German. So she went from growing up in being discarded to being an animal that now knows German, and all her commands are in German. So you're nipping at me a little bit, but she's so trained that she won't walk through the threshold of a door unless I tell her to. She'll stay
Wow.
inside of our house. Yeah, so it's amazing. And she's done all this at 6 months old. I couldn't do this alone because these dogs are so high energy. They're working dogs. And our trainer, Brittany, has been amazing. She took her for, two different sessions, about 10 to 14 days apiece, walked her 3 to 4 miles a day. And the change is unbelievable. I had a dog that this animal was so ruly, and we didn't know if we were going to be able to handle her. And Brittany took her and totally changed her completely around. So along with animal health, it's also behavior because the shelters are overrun with people that get these animals, no matter what it is, and they bring them home and they realize they can't deal with them. So the first thing they
Mhm.
do is they either drop them at the shelter or they just let them go. So responsible pet ownership is a must, down to neutering and spaying, down to proper training and proper care, and also proper nutrition.
And understanding the breed of dog too. Now she
Yes,
she
ma'am.
looks like a shepherd. So is that the family of dogs that she came from?
She's shepherd, like kind of class, but she's a Belgian Malinois. She's not a shepherd. So shepherds are a little more I would say a little more docile, a little more laid back. These are the dogs that will climb trees and they'll
Hmm.
swing off of ropes. And so she right now can probably jump about 3 to 4 feet in the air. Her big sister and big brother can jump about 8 feet in the air over fences. So if you've ever
Wow.
seen military working dogs or police working dogs, that's what she is. She's not trained that way. She's trained to be a social dog. So we bring her to festivals with us. And she's very well mannered. So Yeah, she's a great addition to our family.
And what advice do you have for folks? You know, we are going to definitely refer the trainer you mentioned, and you know, people need to be consistent. So when they come back
Yeah.
home from training, you know, what are some tips that you can to give to folks? Because you know, especially if there's kids in the
Yeah.
family and they need to understand too what their role is. They can still enjoy the pup, but they need to be, you know, on board with what they've learned.
First thing is you have to remember that it is an animal. And it's not on the same level you are, and it's not at the same speed you are, and it's looking for direction from you. So frustration shouldn't happen. You have to not be frustrated with the animal. The second thing is if you're putting the investment into the animal, into the dog to get training, you have to work them every day, or else they're going to lose it. And then you start looking at it, well, you don't know anything, but it's not really the animal because it's the trainer. You have to put the commitment in it, and that's as easy as training like I do with her in German and training her to be off leash, or just training, you could have an apartment dog where you're training it to go outside to use the bathroom instead of inside, right? But it has to be consistent and it has to be patterned. Everything is patterned. They're simple animals, just like us. We get into a routine, they get into a routine. And as long as you can keep them in a routine, you can keep them calm. Like this is a Belgian Malinois that should not be this calm right now. She should be jumping off the walls, but she's so calm because what she's waiting for me to do is either give her a treat or give her a command.
That works for people, just like you said. So
Yep.
Uh, so well, we enjoyed having both of you on the show. And how do you prefer that people follow you? They want to. What we know you have a Shopify page. We'll make sure that people have the link to that so that they can place their orders. And you carry a number of different products for cats and dogs. So what's the best way for people to reach you? You have social
Follow
media.
us on Facebook. Yeah, follow us
Okay.
on Facebook. Facebook will link you at our Instagram and everything else. And we have new products coming out. I have a chicken and a sweet potato products that's going to drop today and be available tomorrow. We have merchandise coming out as well. So we're hand making dog bandanas. We'll have, poop bags. We'll have dog water bottles. We're going to have a whole bunch of things ready for everyone to go. A lot of good Christmas gifts coming up.
They do make great gifts,
They do.
and don't wait, folks. Get on this right away and start your pets on a healthy path. So we thank you, Todd, Lake Gaston Pawvisions, for visiting with us on the show and educating us and telling some really important things that we need to know. So definitely we'll come out and see you when you're out and about, and look forward to the updates in those new products.
Very cool. Thank you so much for having me.
You all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Wild Birds Unlimited Nature Shops of Greenville, North Carolina has all the ingredients to turn your backyard into a bird lover's paradise. We carry top-of-the-line feeders, seed, and feed to attract all the birds. Visit Wild Birds Unlimited Nature Shop, your local backyard bird feeding experts, at 518 Greenville Boulevard Southeast, Unit A in Greenville, North Carolina, or call 252-493-0340. That's 252-493-0340. Carolina Colors Golf Club in New Bern, North Carolina offers an exceptional experience for golfers of all levels. Our championship course ensures a challenging yet enjoyable game with added benefits such as a full driving range and practice facility, golf shops stocked with the latest merchandise, and access to 3 PGA professionals to guide you through improving your game. Join today at CarolinaColorsGolfClub.com. That's CarolinaColorsGolfClub.com. Stillwater Kayaks of New Bern, North Carolina is your premier destination for year-round kayaking for the whole family. Stillwater Kayaks offers a range of kayaking options for new and experienced kayakers. Explore the beauty of our scenic still waters and diverse wildlife. Call 252-772-3563 to reserve your kayaking adventure. That's 252-772-3563. We interrupt this broadcast for the Second Opinion halftime show.
Hi, this is Theo Claus. My new single is Feel the Same, and you're watching Second Opinion.
Nothing is perfect when you're far away. Nothing is perfect when you're here to stay. I never imagined I would feel this way. I think it's impossible we feel the same. And if it's perfect when you're here, then I can't help but run away. And if you wanna make it easy, then I think I'll feel the same. Nothing is perfect when you're far away. Nothing is perfect when you're here to stay. I know that you'll never turn and look my way. We'll just keep it easy and I'll be okay. And if it's perfect when you're here, then I can't help but run away. And if you wanna keep it easy, then I think I'll feel the same. And if it's perfect when you're here, then I can't help but run away. And if you wanna keep it easy, then I think I'll feel the same.
Hi, this is Alan Celestine, and my single is Hazel Eyes featuring Theo Claus, and you're watching Second Opinion.
Hazel eyes, you're my sweetest view. Every shade pulling me to you. Caught up in a dream I can't disguise. Falling deep in those hazel eyes. Tell me something I don't wanna feel or explain. Every day it's feeling like things won't be the same. I'm always told you wanna go, but I don't wanna be alone. So I guess I'm stuck with you. Tell me something I can't seem to get off my mind. I can't get rid of feelings, I can't leave them behind. I can't believe that you deceived me. Now I want you to believe me. I cherish you, but I can't trust you. Hazel eyes, you're my sweetest view. Every shade pulling me to you. Caught up in a dream I can't disguise. Falling deep in those hazel eyes. Tell me something I can't seem to get off my mind. I can't get rid of feelings, I can't leave them behind. I can't believe that you deceived me. Now I hope that you believe me. I cherish you. Every day feeling the same. I can't believe that you're not here by my side. And I know that I've been so distant, but I think it's best that we take some time. I don't mind, 'cause I know it's just a waste of time. Hazel eyes, you're my sweetest view. Every shade pulling me to you. Caught up in a dream I can't disguise. Falling deep in those hazel eyes. Hazel eyes, you're my sweetest view. Every shade pulling me to you. Caught up in a dream I can't disguise. Falling deep in those hazel eyes.
This is Dedrick Soul, and you're listening to my song, I'd Be a Fortune, on Second Opinion.
In my mind, I know that I could let it go if I could only feel something from you. We waste time trying to see if we will fight to be sure my imperfect is true, that I'm not worthy of you. But I grew and I grew and I grew, 'cause to you I'd be a fortune. To you I'd be a fortune. To you I'd be a fortune. See how I'm blinging now, more than your bone can hold, more than the life you stole, more than the me you see when you step into your bowl. Now I know the lies you told. No pressure, just sit here and smile. Let me feed your soul for a while, for a while. In August, you forget that you're enthralled, so you don't see me. It's all false to you, it's so clear. It's through, it's through, it's through to you. I'd be a fortune. To you I'd be a fortune. To you I'd be a fortune. See how I'm bringing now, more than your bone can hold, more than the life you stole, more than the me you see when you step into your bowl. Yeah, I know the lies you told. You fool. I'd be a fortune. To you I'd be a fortune. To you I'd be a fortune. See how I'm blinking now, more than your bone can hold, more than the life you stole, more than the me you see. You don't see me, that pride just like glue. I cost too much for you.
This halftime show was sponsored by Nash Studios of Greenville, North Carolina. Before you even think about handling a gun, you need to visit the Martin County Firearms Academy, which offers concealed carry handgun classes, first shots class for new shooters, individual instruction, and more taught by experienced NRA certified instructors. Founded in 2015 by Catherine Bell to help women and men learn to safely and confidently use and carry their handguns. Martin County Firearms Academy is a small woman-owned company committed to serving Martin and surrounding counties with the best in personal and group handgun training. For more information, call 252-789-4923 or visit martincountyfirearmsacademy.com.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing to keep us focused. A habit we never skip. To clear our minds and elevate our performance. But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Maybe you surround yourself with positivity. Or you need to center yourself. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
On game day, the biggest plays may happen on the field, but when it's your wedding, every moment should be all about you. At Dream Entertainment, we bring the ultimate lineup: DJs, officiants, planners, bartenders, photo and video pros, live bands, and professional hair and makeup, all working together to create your perfect day. With veteran ownership and in-house financing, we handle every detail so you can celebrate like champions. Dream Entertainment, where your big day scores big. Let's make it unforgettable.
Welcome to the Second Opinion Show. We're so excited to have you. Tanya Hasty, family nurse practitioner, has been in this business for over 17 years, helping people stay well. And you are hailing from Roanoke Rapids, where your practice is. How are you doing today, Tanya?
Good. Hope you are.
Very well, very well. And what a beautiful place we live in, and a beautiful work that you do in our community by keeping everyone healthy and well. And Hasty's Holistic Health here in Roanoke Rapids offers so many different services for our community. And let's talk a little bit about your background. Now, you've been in this business for a really long time, from community health to intensive care nursing to emergency nursing. You've done it all. So what part of your journey kind of led you to start your own practice?
It has been a journey. I graduated nursing school in 2006. I kind of did always know that I wanted to go into nursing. And when I graduated, I wanted to learn as much as I could, as quick as possible. So I actually went to an emergency room about an hour from home that was super busy. And I worked there for a couple of years, and I did learn everything I could have ever imagined there. But kids and life and things like that brought me back a little closer to home. I had an opportunity to be director of nursing at a local nursing home, and I did that for a few years. I never imagined myself in long-term care, but it was a really good experience and a completely different thing than the ER. So then after that, a friend contacted me that I had worked with in the emergency room and said that our local hospital was looking at developing a cardiac cath lab, and he wanted to know if I would be interested. And it was just something a little bit different than the nursing home, and the schedule worked out. It was local and all of that. So I went and did that for a while. While I was doing that, I went back to school, got my bachelor's degree in nursing, and then an opportunity came for a supervisor over invasive and non-invasive cardiovascular testing. So I did that for a few years, and after that, the intensive care manager position came open. And so I decided I wanted to move up a little bit, and I went and did that for a little while. And while I was doing that, that's kind of when COVID hit and things changed in the hospital. And I really wanted to go back to school. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew it was kind of now or never. I was getting older, and I had done several things. I had done mainly acute care in nursing. So I wanted to just explore and see what was out there. So I started researching my nurse practitioner degree, and a friend of mine had left the hospital and gone to a rural health clinic in Nash County. and she was doing really good there. And they had an opening for a grant funded position as kind of like a COVID navigator. And so I decided I would take that because it was very kind of laid back. I could make my own hours and stuff like that. And I was very transparent with them and told them I wanted to go back to school to get my master's in nurse practitioner. And so they were very understanding and helped me through it. And I graduated. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I always knew that I wanted to open my own practice, but I saw that maybe 5 or 10 years down the road. I felt like I needed to practice for a while first before doing that. And a friend of mine that I had done some precepting with, that I had worked nursing with, contacted me, and she's doing aesthetics. And she said, you know, would you be interested in doing some weight loss? And I said, well, honestly, that's my dream. And it was just like God ordered every step for me along the way. And so she was in a building that had some openings as far as logistically. And so I said, yeah, I'll come. And I was doing that part-time while I was working at the rural health clinic full-time. And it just, my business was very blessed and it just blew up, and I was very happy with what I was doing. And so I decided it was sink or swim. I had to go out and try to do it full time. And that's where I'm at. I've been doing it full time now for 2 years, and it is super busy.
And you know, it's just it's your calling, you know, and when you found life's purpose, because sometimes not everybody finds it right away, but you know, once you do, then everything just aligns and falls into place and just happens as it should, you know. Now,
yeah.
Weight loss is one of your specialties that you help people, you know, as you went on to do some specialties with functional medicine, and we'll get into the difference why holistic health is a much better approach at keeping people well. Mm-hmm. But you had a personal journey with weight loss in your family that kind of helped inspire some of this extra special work that you've been doing with that. Can you share that with us?
Absolutely. So I have struggled with my weight my entire life. I remember being overweight as a child and going to Weight Watchers with my grandmother. My father's side of the family was always overweight, had lots of comorbidities. So kind of my whole life was all about diets. Either we were on a diet or we're off of a diet. So I really understood what it was like to struggle with my weight. That's why that sparked the interest for me, and I knew there was a big need. And then the holistic part, without getting ahead of ourselves, as I was in nurse practitioner school and as COVID hit and things like that, I realized as practitioners, we were always just looking to solve a problem with a medication. So when we learned in school, it was like, okay, what is their symptoms? Okay, this medicine treats that. And we didn't really think about, okay, what other issues does this medicine cause? Or is there something we can do, a change in their lifestyle, like food or exercise or getting outside or whatever, vitamins, that would help more than just throwing another medication out. So they ended up kind of going in hand. I got obesity medicine certified. I took a functional medicine course, and I believe I use both of them every day. Even if someone comes in for weight loss, we talk about holistic, we talk about nutrition, we talk about vitamins, because I believe they do go hand in hand.
And holistic, you know, my way of remembering it is thinking about the whole, you know, the whole person. It's not just the medical part, it's spiritual, it's mental, psychological, family stuff, society, things that are environmental effects on us too. So there's so many different factors that can affect our health and our wellness. And you also do food sensitivity testing. What role does that play in how people have different issues that they deal with?
So the food sensitivity test is an amazing test. It tests 286 different foods. It is not an allergy test. I do have an allergy test, but it is more of an inflammation test. So people that are having, say, joint pain, brain fog, puffiness, swelling, just stomach issues, gut health, we can take 1 tube of blood and they will test it against 286 different foods, like meats, vegetables, dairies, wheats, spices. And when the test comes back, it gives me a level of IgG. IgG is what the body releases when we are experiencing inflammation. So depending on the level of the IgG, it's very easy to understand, but it'll say, you know, like green, it'll give you green, that's less than 5. So that means you had no inflammation to that particular food. Then yellow would be kind of in the middle, and then red is usually 30 to 40 or more. And that means that your body really had lots of inflammation when it was exposed to that specific food or spice or whatever.
That's
Things like
fascinating.
that can help, because if our body is inflamed, then we're not healthy. We don't feel good. We can't lose weight. So I have seen people come in here and get the food sensitivity test, not try to do any of the dieting or anything like that, and just cut those inflammatory foods and lose 25 pounds just right off the bat, because their body drops the inflammation.
And inflammation is like the root source of so many diseases. And
Yes, absolutely.
so that's just, you know, small changes make big differences. And, you know, we want the audience to know, no matter where you are at and in your journey and weight loss and just my own personal story, I had tipped the scales at close to 400 pounds 20 something years ago, grew up in a family with eating issues, and a lot of that being emotional, and there's so many other different factors and things going on. So, you know, we have to take care of ourselves and love ourselves, and these small changes can save your life, and, you know, allow you to be here for the ones that you love. Now, can you share a success story, somebody that you had worked with that maybe came in and just was kind of at wit's end and came to you and you were able to help them?
I have so many success stories that I'm thankful for. But the one I share probably the most is a dear friend that I've known a long time. And she came and said, I cannot lose weight. I don't feel well. She wasn't able to play with her kids. She wasn't able to do the things that she normally does. And we changed her diet, and she's lost 120 pounds. She's now teaching exercise classes. She's doing all the things that she wants to do. She's running with her kids. She feels amazing, but she's changed her whole lifestyle. And she, just like you said, just like, you know, I said, has struggled with her weight most of her life. So there's nothing spectacular really that I'm doing, but sometimes for some people it's the accountability, knowing they can contact me, knowing they're coming in here to weigh. We're going to talk about all the struggles, because like you said, it's holistic. It's the whole person. I need to know their whole life. Like, is it emotional eating? Is it cultural eating? Is it that you just don't think about food in the right way? We like to change the relationship for people with food, have a better relationship with it.
And, you know, here in the South, there's so many different things on the table that we've grown up with our whole life, comfort foods and things like that, that are killing us, you know. So
Yep.
moderation, and just, you know, it's okay to have treats and things now and then, but overall we have to make other choices, better choices for ourselves.
All right.
So before we started talking, we were talking about one of the other treatments that you use. Explain the lipotropics injections and how those work.
So lipotropic injection, some people will call it a fat burner. A lot of people just refer to it as a B12 injection. It has B12 in it, but it also has some fat flushers, methionine, choline, inositol is one that helps a little bit with cravings, but it is all natural. It is not like a medication. It is more vitamins and things like that. I do offer that. Some people want all natural everything, and they'll get that lipotropic shot about every other week. Now, I don't do it weekly, but some places will do it weekly, because I just feel like if we can get your levels therapeutic for like your B12 and stuff, you'll feel good, but there's no need to go overboard with that. So yeah, it is an intramuscular injection, and I do it about every couple of weeks. Or some people just do it when they feel like they need a little boost in energy, or they've been exposed to a sickness or something like that.
And our B vitamins are so important to have because that affects, you know, our energy and our heart, and there's so many things. So, you know, you recommend folks take at least a daily multivitamin too, to just try to supplement what they don't get with their diet.
We talk a lot about their diet first. If somebody tells me I'm not picky, I eat vegetables every day, a multivitamin is not usually necessary because it has a teeny tiny bit of 50 different vitamins. So I really like to focus more on what that person needs. If they're struggling with energy, we might do like a B12, of course. If they are struggling with gut health, we would go more towards a pre and probiotic. If they're struggling with maybe anxiety or insomnia, then we would do a specific type of magnesium. So there are a few people that I put on a multivitamin, but those would be the people that say, I don't eat any vegetables, I'm super picky, things like that.
Okay. Now you pretty much do everything there in office, from EKGs to lab work to, you know, regular routine visits and referrals and a lot of different things. You do not accept insurance, but you do accept like flexible spending and health spending cards and things like that. Can you just explain a little bit about the program?
Yes. So my initial visit would be where we would talk about your history. We would get a little short physical, talk about your expectation of the visit, whether that is weight loss or health optimization or food sensitivity test or what have you. That first visit right now is $125. And then after that, follow-ups are about 30 minutes long. And they're $50. I do not take insurance. If anybody's ever dealt with insurance, they understand why I don't take insurance. They just put a lot of stipulations. It's super hard for a private practice to survive insurance companies. And if you took one, you have to take all of them. So that's a long story for another day. But as far as lab work, if someone wants like regular labs or hormones or things like that, we can always bill that to the insurance because I use LabCorp as my processor. Now that food sensitivity test, insurance does not cover. It's a specialty lab. So that is completely separate. That's not something you're going to be able to bill to your insurance.
Okay. Well, we know that whatever they need, that you're gonna get them checked out. Now you have some other little features in your office. Tell us about your protein and your shakes and things that you make.
So about, I guess, almost a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, my daughter is really the mastermind behind this idea for us to do this. But I found myself always telling people about high protein snacks, and they don't have to taste bad. Just because it's healthy doesn't mean it has to taste bad. And so we had made some like protein teas and protein shakes at home. And I know there are a few little pop-ups, especially Nash County is where she works at. And she had befriended some of the people there that were doing it. And they were like, you really need one in your area. So we had toyed with the idea. And when we were able to move from Halifax to Roanoke Rapids to a bigger spot, we had the opportunity because we are in a med spa type thing. So it's me and another nurse does aesthetics, another nurse practitioner does things like Botox, fillers, laser hair removal, IV hydration. We have an esthetician that does just the feel good facials, lashes, brows, things like that. But there was another area in the back, and I just had a vision that we should be offering all of these high protein snacks and teach people about protein shakes and protein teas that would help them in their health journey. And that's kind of where it started at, and it's really just blown up. It's gone crazy. So we're very thankful for that.
That's great. And people need, they need to know that there's other options and different stuff they can try. And some people would rather take a sip of something than like a full meal. So sometimes that helps them in the day when they're busy. And something quick but something healthy.
Yep.
So And exercise is another really important part of the mix. What is some little things, little changes that people can do to add some activity into their day that you suggest to patients?
So we talk a lot about exercise. I love exercise. But again, we figure out what that person can do. Now, for me, I have a dear friend that I've known for years and years, Dewan and Sabrina Daniels own Anchor Fitness, which is just a couple doors down from here. And they do group fitness of all levels. And that is what I do for my exercise. So I will talk to people. We work together. I refer them. Their first visit is free if they've come and seen me, and I've sent them over there because I want people to understand it can be fun. Now, I have some people that, they don't like crowds or the time doesn't work for them or whatever, and we'll talk through what's best for them. Some people, it may be that they can take a walk. Other people, it may be they need a little short video. I have videos I send my patients that are free on YouTube. If they say, no, I can't be in a crowd or that's not for me, because the gym or a group is not for everybody. Or some people are just trying to squeeze in a few minutes. So little things like parking farther away, of course. I tell people if I'm on a meeting or a call like this, a lot of times if I'm on my phone, I will walk. I will not sit at my desk for that. So just getting those extra steps in, staying active. There can be lots of little ways to squeeze that in. Something as simple as I'll tell them every time you go to the bathroom, do 10 squats. That's just building that muscle and not having to carve out extra time for that.
Mm-hmm. That's great advice. Well, how do you want people to reach you? They want to book your book appointment. Is phone the best, or visit your website, hastysholistichealth.com?
Yeah, so the website is probably best. You can do an inquiry through that and it comes straight to the business email, or my phone number is up there. That's my cell phone number. I don't do as great at answering the phone as I do text message, just because if I'm with patients all day long, I will return calls at the end of the day. But if you text me, I can return texts in between patients. So any of those ways would be completely fine.
Wonderful. Well, we're excited that you've shared such great information with us and a little bit about yourself and all the wonderful work that you do with our community and keeping people well. Now, the holidays are coming up. Do you have any suggestions for people to kind of help stay away from some of those really tempting things? Any tips that you can give us?
Yes. So there's a lot of talk about holidays, and like you mentioned earlier, it's about moderation. My plan is a lifestyle change. I don't like to call it a diet per se. And what we have said in here about the holidays is, I don't want you sitting in the corner saying, I'm on a diet, I can't participate. That would be super sad. And you would never stick with anything like that. So I usually try to have something light for breakfast, high in protein, and then we'll eat our big meal around 2 or 3 o'clock. I'll always eat my protein first because that's super important. And then I'll pick usually 2 items I want to cheat on, and I will have a smaller portion than what I used to. One other trick is when everybody takes that turkey nap, I'm going to take a walk.
That's a good switch. So, and you'll feel better. So, walking's great. That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
And improves our mood and gets us some fresh air, and you just feel good. So,
yep.
Wonderful. Well, Tanya, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for being one of our sponsors and supporting the show. We appreciate that. And everything that you're doing in the community to keep people well. Folks, you need to call Hasty's Holistic Health, Roanoke Rapids. Visit hastysholistichealth.com, and Ms. Tanya here will get you all squared away. So you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll be in touch with you for any updates.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
The Pride and Egos line of athletic wear is a brand that tells a story about people representing individuality, diversity, equality. Everybody's got our own story. What's your story?
On game day, the biggest plays may happen on the field, but when it's your wedding, every moment should be all about you. At Dream Entertainment, we bring the ultimate lineup: DJs, officiants, planners, bartenders, photo and video pros, live bands, and professional hair and makeup, all working together to create your perfect day. With veteran ownership and in-house financing, we handle every detail so you can celebrate like champions. Dream Entertainment, where your big day scores big. Let's make it unforgettable.
Richland's Cajun Market is the only grocery store in eastern North Carolina that specializes in authentic Cajun foods like boudin, andouille, gumbo, jambalaya. Whatever Cajun you're craving, you'll find it at Richland's Cajun Market, bringing the best foods from Acadiana to the Carolinas. We may be small, but we're big on taste. Located at 904 Wood Drive in Richlands, North Carolina. Call 910-430-0662 for more information. That's 910-430-0662. All Sport Nutrition of Jacksonville, North Carolina is here to help you take your muscle growth to greater heights. All Sport Nutrition is committed to providing you with the highest quality products. Not only do we carry products from major brands, we formulate our own as well. You won't find a place that cares more about your goals than we do at All Sport Nutrition, located at 431 Western Boulevard, Suite E in Jacksonville. Call 910-968-0586. That's 910-968-0586.